The Warriors have finally announced the name of their WNBA team. The Golden State Valkyries will start to play in the 2025 season in Chase Center in San Francisco and is becoming the 13th WNBA team. And it's under Joe Lacob in the Golden State Warriors organization. Everybody had been speculating about the name, as something like the Golden State Glow or something like that rolls off the tongue. I think that the Valkyries certainly stands for something way doper than how it sounds. It doesn't exactly roll off the tongue, but it is a host of warrior women who are fearless and unwavering, flying through the air and sea alike. Mythology, right? And so what that represents is dope. And I also heard the new president say, it's plural, Valkyries, it's a group, it's a team. So again, I understand the meaning of it and what it represents is dope. Logo looks cool, right? It just doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. But I wanted to tap in with y'all and discuss a little bit about it because I am going to be covering this team. I'm excited about that. Again, though, I'm assuming we, the Valkyries, Golden State, are going to get the first pick in next year's draft. That's usually how it works. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to be covering the team next summer and headed into that. I have been following the women's game for, 7 or 8 years. You remember I have 3 daughters, all played basketball. My youngest is still playing. She's continuing into a JC this summer. Her weightlifting actually starts in a couple weeks for that. So we're excited about that. But I've been following the sport for longer than this little boom that's happening now, which is exciting. And now, again, assuming the Valkyrie will have the number 1 pick in next year's draft by default, I went and I looked at a couple mock drafts, like who could be the face of the franchise. Caitlin Clark would have been amazing to put her in the same building as Steph Curry, right? And most mocks have, there's a variation. The season has to play out, right? Someone could rise and someone could drop, as we know. There's the girl from Stanford, Kiki, who you may have seen her dunking. I'm pretty sure that's the girl that dunks like easily. Some have her projected as the number 1 pick. You have to remember the WNBA is a little different. Caitlin Clark is an outlier. We're starting to see more guards. Sabrina Clark, Paige Beckers, who we're going to speak about here in a second, but generally bigs go off the board first from college basketball into the WNBA. So you've got the girl from Stanford. There's another big guard, Anissa Morrow from LSU, who some project could climb to number 1. And then, of course, Paige Beckers would be the headliner. And listen, if she's healthy, if she has another healthy season at UConn, she's the no-brainer pick for this Valkyrie organization because ironically, she's a warrior type of player in the sense of everything is within the flow of the game. Right? She can fit into the system and enhance everybody else. And you look up and she has 25 points and you're like, yo, it didn't even feel that way. It's an easy 25 within the flow of the game. And she makes it look simple. As far as basketball feel and skill goes, she's a savant. I think the question with her is going to be the durability, and she runs that risk going back to UConn for another year, but I get it. She feels like she's probably been robbed of the full college experience because she has dealt with injuries. And then, let's be honest, the NLI money changes things, right? I do have one question, though. Let's say we are sitting here with this number 1 pick the draft just happened, right? And so it's in May, early May, right? Am I wrong here? And Joe Lacob calls up Juju Watkins and says, hey, Juju, how much you making on that NIL deal? Oh, that's a lot, right? Oh, okay. I see. Because Juju will only be 2 years at USC by this time, right? Completed her sophomore season. No need to declare for the draft, but what if Joe and co say, hey, Juju, we will beat that NIL deal. We will offer you, a contract that surpasses that NIL deal, declare and become the face of the Valkyrie. And I think that's what we're eventually, hopefully, going to be headed towards, because the NLI deals are going to force more money into the WNBA. hopefully, along with Caitlin Clark and the exposure they're getting. But again, Paige, I'd be just as excited about that if she's healthy, and that that's probably just as big of a name to start your franchise with, and she's going to enhance everybody around her. That'd be fine. But Juju is what they say different, right? And it's physical. It's a physical thing. Like Paige, skill-wise, I don't think you're going to find anybody better as far as the game of basketball, but she has her physical limitations where Juju, man, it's almost as if, like, for those of you that don't know their games, if Paige was Luka, Juju is Ant, right? And the physical athleticism and gifts give her a higher ceiling ultimately. Now, that comp is probably not fair to Paige because she isn't nearly, she doesn't pound the ball like that at all. Their game's not the same. I'm just talking about physical limitations. Here would be a more accurate one, even though it's not apples to apples. If Paige was Cade Cunningham, Juju would be Paolo Banchero, right? Where it's like, okay, you've got these 2 number 1 pick guys, franchise guys. You give Paolo the ceiling because of his physical attributes. Juju moves different, and that would be real interesting if that would be the first kind of power move from this organization in the WNBA, like pulling a star player out early. But again, you're going to have to come up out of the pockets to do that. Now, the WNBA season kicks off today. Are y'all going to check out Caitlin Clark? Are y'all going to check her out? Underdog Fantasy, I appreciate those of you that signed up yesterday. Got to deposit $10 for it to count. Someone was asking me in the comments. If I would have known that, maybe I'd have negotiated a little something different. I didn't know that. But yeah, you got to make a $10 deposit. So if you can't do it, you don't want to do it, I get it. But all I can do is ask, right? And if you've been paying attention, my picks have been hitting. I can't promise wins, right? You have to understand the percentage of this, especially when you're giving multiple picks. And so I encourage you to, take the pick that you like or picks that you like and incorporate them into however you get down with it, right? But I've been hitting. Caitlin Clark's debut. You've got a special on Underdog Fantasy right now. Use the code Alchemy. Higher than 17.5 points. I like it. I also really like higher than rebounds and assists combined at 11.5. Caitlin has a lot of pressure on her. That goes without saying. And I'm a little concerned with the amount of money that she's getting. I know this sounds weird, but you hear about the Nike deal, right? A Gatorade deal. Like, she's making so much more than anyone around her. I just don't know how that's going to go down, right? But she's built for this. She's tough. I don't think it's going to fold her, but it's a lot. But what I would be wary of with the Caitlin Clark picks tonight is I think the threes are higher or lower than 3.5. In my mind, I say that that's going to be priority one. They're not going to let her drift left and get off a bunch of threes. You would imagine, even though they let her do it the whole tournament. But you would imagine they're going to try to take away the 3. That's why I like the rebounding and assists. If you watch some of the preseason, she had a lot of great passes that weren't completed. So as they sync up, I think the assist numbers will be really high. She rebounds well. She's so strong, man. She's so much, when you compare her to Sabrina, I was talking with my daughter about it last week. To me, one of the separators is she's strong. She plays so much stronger than Sabrina does. And my daughter was like, well, Sabrina looks, looks can be one thing. She just plays so strong. I like the assists and rebounds. NBA pick, Denver, Minnesota, this pivotal game 5. I like Naz Reid higher than 10.5 because I think he's going to play more in place of Gobert. And heck, Towns probably be in foul trouble, right? So those are my 2 underdog picks. Again, if y'all can support the channel, the link will be in the description. But yeah, I just wanted to touch base on this Golden State Valkyries announcement because I will be covering it. And stay tuned. Hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'm out, y'all.